Hello everyone, and welcome back to Day Job. I am your host, Code Marvelous, and we're back after a hiatus. I have been trying to rebuild up my settings and get everything back in good working order. A lot of stuff happened recently that led to me needing to update my computer, and I was also sick, so it was not a very good week as far as me being able to stream. You do not need to be concerned about any absences like that in the future. It looks like we're streaming at a lower level. Let me fix that real quick. Oh, it's not gonna let me fix it right now. Okay. Well, regardless, we're gonna be playing some Smoke today. Get that deck lined up. Hope nobody missed me too much. Alright, let's do it. Well, I guess we're in hit points mode because my opponent is puts in net damage as always. Oh man. Always net damage. It's unreal. Nope. am not at Jamcorms. I'm working hard for the money. We can do this. We just need the last, oh, is the other indexing in there? Yeah, we're probably in bad shape here. Smoke is not really well equipped for this type of stuff. This type of stuff is always strange because I basically don't have a deck, I have hit points. Alright, let's find a new game. This is pretty good, we'll keep this. This is pretty tasty. Temujin and I'm gonna give them the celebrity gift because I want to see what's in their hand. I mean, if you want to let me have free money, then I'll take my setup cash and run. All right. How's the audio and video quality coming through? I'm on a new machine. Why do I keep losing connection to the server? Right now I'm running just to stop the tenon. Oh, right, we're on Ag Infusion. For some reason I thought my opponent was on tenon. That's why I was checking archives. But I think I just lost connection to JNet. Did JNet just go down? Hope not. Looks like it did. I just tried to open it up on another browser tab. Let me see if any website works. Okay, so it doesn't look like... Can somebody comment in the chat if they can hear me? Is it me losing internet or did JNet just bite it? Because if JNet bit it, that's fine. Yeah, it looks... Yep, JNet is dead. Let's go take a look at the deck. Okay. So... Man, the fonting with the chat thing, I gotta go back in and fix that. Because it's doing super big font. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the deck. Because I think there's a lot of power here. I think Smoke has some issues right now. Not the least of which being that she doesn't have enough room to fit everything that she needs. But you know, that's kind of a perennial problem with Smoke, so it's something we always have to deal with and try to hedge. No joke intended. So I don't know, what do other people think as far as how we get her to work the way that she should? Because I think there's... Where did the chat box go? Hang on. All right, there we go. That should do it. I mean, Equivocation Maker's Eye is good. I guess what I'm really wondering has the time come where I can ditch New Angeles City Hall? That's true. Indexing is strictly better if they don't have Jackson. When I went to regionals, I had a really good performance with equivocation in Maker's Eye, because since everyone was on like moons and could just recur stuff over and over again and mess with the indexing in so many different ways, I found it was better to just have the equivocation plus Maker's Eye. But I do think indexing is strictly better. Well, I mean, I want this deck to be as good as it can be, Tristan. That's always the question, and the issue is so much of Smoke is a meta read. I wish there was better money than Temujin contract, because I could really use that influence on a lot of power. Yeah, it's tough. When New Angeles City Hall rotates, I will probably do like misdirection for my large tag removal, and then just be careful. And probably Citadel Sanctuary. Right. That's always the issue. Now, I wonder if, bear with me here, we have one refractor and maybe one inversificator to move those fair children around. What do people think about that? Indexing will cycle as well, but we'll still have Maker's Eye. Yeah, I mean, when I was discussing on Twitter with people were talking about, oh, we're going to lose Cotty Jones and we're going to lose Plasquid. I'm like, bitch, we're going to lose New Angeles City Hall, which is basically the card that lets criminals and shapers maintain tempo against tag decks. Like, all of those decks are going to get slowed down tremendously when New Angeles City Hall rotates. So, if one of our concerns is taxing runs, is that our R&D runs are super taxing, how do we either make those runs less taxing or win quicker? Do we just add in another copy, try to add in another copy of indexing and another copy of Mad Dash to try to close the game more quickly? Freedom could work. Freedom's a little expensive for this deck, and especially since we usually don't know when there's going to be an agenda. We're just guessing. I mean, we could do that, but that's like a very drawn-out turn. That's true. I don't like Houdini, though, because it's not an easy boost for stealth. I like that Dagger and Refractor only require one stealth to boost. I think HQ pressure, I think that's valid. So how do we get some HQ pressure in here? Getting a single legwork in here would not really do anything. I had duplicate breakers for when Scorpios was popular, but I guess since we have 3 SMC, we can go down to 1 copy of each, and then get 1 copy of Ottman back in. I mean, Astrolabe it really is her console. You know, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Astrolabe is... That's true, Tiago. That's true. We could try to get HQI in there. Or not HQI. Gauntlet, but then something's got to give. Influence. These Temujins are so expensive. But if we cut a Temujin, we lose a ton of money, and we increase the risk that we just won't have it in the opening hand. And if we cut Clot, we have basically no game against... Good morning. Cow Utopia, welcome, welcome. So I guess my concern is if we cut the Clot, we have like no... But Paperclip is so good. It's so good. But that's still only 1. We'd still only get 1 Gauntlet out of that exchange. I like the idea of Daredevil, but you have to find it early. Cow Utopia, you came in on a weird day for the stream. The online portal for playing the game crashed right when the stream started, so a bunch of people have moved on with their day and we're not able to play, so we're doing deck tech. All right. Nanotech, I do not think is a good call for this deck. Unless I'm really pressuring R&D. It would free up some stealth. I mean, we can always try it. Like, we can always throw one in, and I can report back with how well it works. Because if they're stacking stuff against us... I mean, there are other forms of shape or economy that we can lean on. But there are... No. Smoke has a lot of setup turns because she has a multi-part rig. Am I not going to get any card previews? Alright. Cool. Let me shift F5. Oh, did that... Unreal. Is everything down? What is going on? There we go. So Temujin makes it so that I can get a turn where I just money up, maybe put some money on net mercurs, and I'm just stacking up future potential both in the form of stealth and in the form of money. There's no other econ card that really does that. Desperado doesn't give me as good of returns. Let her go. I want to get Beth in, so before we forget, before we do anything else, let's get Beth back in the deck, because she's a really good accelerant. I don't know. This is always so tough. I mean, we can try nanotech. I certainly don't think that's terrible, because we have the stealth bucks to offset the early awful costs. In that case, I'd actually want to get in Corroder just because it's cheaper to install, because I like to keep my price point on my breakers as low as I possibly can. Which means we can get a turning wheel in. Yes, Ian, Jinteki is down. We're at 41 cards now without the second Beth, so that's somewhat problematic in and of itself. We have 3 Netmerkers, so we can probably go down to 1 Cloak. We also have a somewhat greedy memory. If we were going to test Nanotech, we can drop Dagger. I would not run dedicated processor in this deck just because I'm not getting any kind of reduction on it. Oh, but Equivocation is such a good card, Bill Rye. It's like my favorite Shaper card. That's not true. My favorite Shaper card is Self-Modifying Code. Hence the name of the channel. Well, let's get the second Beth in before I forget. We've got 1 Blue Moose for the late game. We're not running Astrolabe anymore. We're running Daredevil. So now we can bear it a little bit better. Because now we can have all 3 of these down. Plus that, plus that, plus that without having to discard anything. Lose. I would like to get a Levy in the deck. Actually, I hate having to put Levy in like every deck because of all the Jinteki. It's so frustrating because it's 2 card slots that Smoke cannot afford to lose. Yo, if there's any Netrunner developers out there, please, please, please print a good Stealth Fractor. I mean, I think this is ready to test. I don't think that there's anything wrong with this build at all. I would just get the second Cloak in as the 41st card. Blackstone's so bad. It's such a bad breaker. It's unreal. Yeah. Let's just show everybody watching how bad Blackstone is. So it starts at 3 strength, so it doesn't start at the strength that you needed to break Eli or any of the most popular barriers in the game. And it's, can you do 1 for 1? No, you can't. You have to spend 3 credits to get 4 strength. It's so bad. Yeah, it's so incredibly terrible, this card. We're not putting it in the deck. I tried experimenting with it, and I actually took it to regionals, and it was just like an anchor around my neck. Tiago, that's a good question. I think we do need we definitely need 2 film critics because of how much we have to be able to deal with the Jinteki agendas. Exploratory Romp. I don't even remember what that card does. Is that the one where if you get in, you can trash cards instead of accessing them? Remove up to 3 advancement tokens from a single card. Oh. That's really funny. Okay, so I think if we're going to really work on this deck, we have to start with what is our Fractor. So let's talk about realistic options for our Fractor. We have Corroder, which we've already discussed. We have Blackstone, which I brought up. We have Paperclip. Let me just add them all in so we can look at them. We have Inti if we put in other support cards. And we have Snowball if we want to just have a really miserable time. So let's talk about Fractors. Yeah, I mean, I think we can disqualify Snowball. It's a very bad card. Yeah, I mean, I prefer Paperclip in this deck because it's so efficient. And almost always, as Smoke, my biggest weakness is my ability to deal with barriers. Clippy so good. Plus you have access to Clippy jokes. What could be better than access to Clippy jokes? Alright, so then we got a ditch turning wheel, but that gets us back to 40 cards. Yeah, but we don't... We'd have to run Levy, we'd have to run Scavenge, and if we didn't run those cards, there would be a set number of barriers we could break. Now, we only have 1 dedicated stealth breaker now. So does that mean that we could do something like get Houdini in there for the extra value town? That's a hypothetical. We can now do that because we've got more stealth. We're less reliant on stealth. So that's interesting. Yeah, well, right. We're back to not having any HQ pressure. Shit's on fire, yo. Would it be dumb? I'm gonna just say something completely insane here. What if we put in neutralize all threats? What's dummy box? Where'd it go? Well, we are still leaning on Smoke, Tristan. Like, stealth still makes all of these breakers significantly better. We're not gonna have... I mean, deep in my heart of hearts, if we had this 3 influence back, I would also be on Switchblade still. I haven't been able to play Switchblade in like half a year. Because if we wanted to just go for pure power, we could go back to my old build. Get Switchblade in there. Get the Cloak in there. And get the Ghost Runner back in there. And do something like that. But then we've got like no game against fast advanced decks, like 0. Right, okay, so we can do that. But we have got to get more money in the deck then. Well, Tristan, yeah, I think that's all super valid. We get a lot of cost reduction on a lot of our cards, but we're not installing that much. And the biggest reason to be Smoke is her 40 card card deck size. No, I mean, Siphons is kind of hard with Smoke because you can't reliably land it unless you have an SMC and Siphon and a money card in your opening hand because you need to be able to get breakers out right away. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that gives us as much money in a single card slot as a Temujin. Bank Job requires remotes to exist. Any one ice central, we're probably going to be still going in for a huge profit. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be without Clot. Right. I went back to having 2 stealth breakers. You know what I was thinking? Nanotech might be good with dedicated processor in Kate. Yeah, Black Cat and Blackstone are the only stealth refractors. And Black Cat would be good if it was 1 or 2 influence and not 3. Tapeworm's not a bad idea. I don't know. This is the tough sauce expressway. This is like the internal arguments I always have when trying to build smoke. Is the slots are so snug, and what breakers and support cards are going to be good is highly dependent upon what your meta looks like at any given time. Because she's basically a silver bullet delivery system. Because she's got the small deck size, and she has the ability to draw on the run because of Netmer Curve. She's the best. I wish we could test right now. Well, I will leave this as it is for now. I will test it tomorrow, and I will report back. In the meantime, I would like to start working. Let's work on a Kate. Let's work on a Kate deck. Peace in Your Time. Peace in Our Time is a good card that can free up a lot of money, influence, but it also takes up a large number of slots. All right, so I think Nanotech is good with Kate. Let's get Dedicated Processor in there, because she makes it cost 1. Yeah, Peace in Our Time is a very much so a double-edged card. You have to be really careful. Let me get the music back on. How loud is the music relative to my voice? All right, Inti, Nanotech. Is it worth getting Inversificator in here, or do we just double down on all the cheap shit and go Zool? I mean, we can also have Yogg. I'm not saying that we're not going to have Yogg. But we need some backup stuff. Well, let's get some of the basics in there. Let's get Diesel. Let's get Sure Gamble. Let's get 2 Film Critics. 2 New Angela City Halls. We're not making a diaper deck. That's not what we're doing. Let's get Daredevil in there. Or Astrolabe's probably a better call for Kate, because her reduction makes it free. Well, yeah. Let's get Clot. Let's get Sakon. That's the name of the show. Alright, so what's our money gonna be? Do we want to go bigger rig and have like Mopus? Have that sweet, sweet money that they can't take from us? Because that's always an option. What are we going to use as our multi-axis? Are we going to do R&D interface and like maker's eye equivocation? Well, we can come back to hardware tutors if we need to. Because we can try to just put a lot of draw in. Well, I know that there's no good hardware tutor, but there are hardware tutors. They exist. Yeah, we can get in some Earthrise. Let's get Yogg in there for the late game. Do we want to use Magnum Opus as our money, or do we want to not do that? Because we need to decide very early on if that's what we're doing, because it's going to drastically change this game. Or this deck. No, you cannot move... you cannot move the dedicated processors once they're installed. I just don't think that that's enough money. I would be comfortable doing this plus Magnum Opus. And then just getting some more memory in there. Only instead of doing Earthrise, maybe Laguna Velasco. Trying to think. Hey, we could always go ham. Get in the gauntlet. See, this is where I always struggle when I try to build Kate decks. I never know what to spend my influence on. We got to get some. I mean, we can always just put Temujin's in. Temujin's a fine card. We need multi-access. There's a big deal here. We don't have enough influence for more than one siphon. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think we need more passive draw. I think we gotta make these Earth Rises. What's some more money we can get in? Well, let's get Blue Moose in there. Now we can warrant the career fairs. And we still don't have any R&D multi-access. This is tough. Let's see if we can get a tapeworm. And we'll get a mimic in there. Hi, item finder. Welcome, welcome. I don't know if this has ever come up, but I really hate having to have must include cards in my deck. It really limits deck building. I mean, this is a finished deck. That's true, but we need to spend that influence. I mean, I guess we could cut that in a career fair. Get a second tapeworm in. I mean, I like having the backup Mopus, especially since we're not super program dependent. Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty okay. Now, if we cut Magnum Opus, we can always put in Equivocation. Which is, you know, not a bad card. let's count up our memory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6. 6. I guess what I'm worried about is I'm worried about our forever money. Our long-term money seems very poor to me. So the other thing that we can do is since we have like a long setup, if we get rid of indexing mad dash, nah. Yeah, we gotta have some cheap multi-access. Yeah, I think this is testable. The late game, we can turn ourselves into Kit and Yogg stuff. Yeah, I think this looks pretty testable. I'm sorry we didn't get to play more games. Sorry JNet went down, but I think probably later on this weekend I'll test the new version of Smoke and the new Kate deck. As always, everybody, thank you for taking time out of your morning or your afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in, to come hang out with me and watch me play Netrunner. If you'd like to support the channel, I can't keep doing what I'm doing, and I wouldn't have been able to expand the channel like I have without your support. There's a link to the Patreon below if you want to become a patron, or if monthly contributions aren't your thing, my Streamlabs link is in there for you to be able to give me a one-time donation. Thank you very much, everybody. And until I see you all again, always be running.